Namaskar. I'm Harpreet Kaur and I welcome you all to our live and interactive session on virtual labs. You're watching us live on PM eVidya channels 6 to 12 and also on our YouTube handle NCERT official. Today we have taken up a very interesting topic. It is of sciences, to be precise chemistry for grade 10 students, and the topic is demonstration of simulation on combination reaction. What are these combination reactions and can we really perform these reactions sitting at home? Well, this is something to explore. So before we actually get into the demonstration and I introduce you to my guest for the session, let me tell you something about virtual labs. We have been doing these series for quite some time now, and I'm sure that most of you out there already know about virtual labs. But those who have joined us today for the very first time, be it parents, teachers, students or teacher educators, let me tell you what virtual labs are. So basically, it is an online educational tool that helps you perform simulations at your own time, pace, space and convenience. Yes. So before actually going into the real physical laboratories, you can perform these simulations at your own space. You can get a hands-on practice of the same, and you can be absolutely ready before you are doing these experiments in the real settings. Now, how it actually benefits you. So there is no rush. You can practice as much as you want. Secondly, it's very safe, and you can actually protect yourself from the hazardous chemicals because you have already practiced the simulations at your place, and now in the laboratory you know what precautions you need to take. Thirdly, I believe that this is something that gives you also an opportunity to evaluate yourself, how we will see in the demonstration itself. Also, because it is an online tool, so it is very cost effective. All you need is a stable Wi-Fi or internet connection and an IoT device and you're good to go. So if you are not into regular schooling system, if you do not have access to real physical laboratories, this is a wonderful tool that can help you actually understand the concepts of science or any other subject, because we have content across the disciplines. Also, if you think that you want to attempt something that is beyond your grade right now, so you can go for the higher level questions, higher level simulations, and as per your convenience you can raise the difficulty level as well. So there are so many benefits of virtual labs, and I believe when we talk about inclusivity and equity in education, when we talk about reaching the last mile learner, virtual labs play a very important role. And there's so many students who actually opt out of science subject because they do not have resources at their hand. Now, it's not the case anymore. You can actually go for these simulations and experiments as per your choice, as per your desire. But today, since we are focusing on grade 10 students and we are talking about chemistry subject, let me talk about this particular experiment in this session itself and listen to the same from the horse's mouth itself. Yes, it's time for me to introduce you all to my guest for the session. So please join me in welcoming Dr. Sunita Gulia. Ma'am is Senior Consultant from CIET NCERT. Ma'am, namaskar and very warm welcome to the session. So ma'am, virtual labs, they are like a boon. It's a wonderful resource, and I have already introduced the same, but there is something more that I want to know. Of course, you will tell us how we can access the virtual labs and whether they are available free of cost and what all we need to do. But before that, I want to understand about the topic. Demonstration simulation on combination reaction. What exactly this is and what are we going to learn today?
Yes, definitely. So just as you asked what are combination reaction, I would like to tell my learners and viewers also. So combination reactions are nothing but simply, as the name suggests, something is combining. So here two or more substance, they combine together to form a single product, single substance. And since there is a product formation, something is synthesized during the process. So these reactions are sometimes called as synthesis reactions also.
Okay.
So, but Harpreet, before diving further into the virtual lab or the simulation part, here I want my learner to understand this thing also, that virtual lab, as the name suggests, or it may sound like that these virtual labs are only for doing experiments, but it is not the case.
Okay.
There is much beyond that, because we can, through these virtual labs, we can understand any concept, any topic in a very clear and visual way.
Lovely.
And it helps us to explore and understand any chemical reaction in a very interactive way. We know how we can understand how the chemical reaction is taking place. So that's the beauty of our virtual lab.
Yeah.
So in today's session, just as we know, the topic is based on combination reactions. So through these virtual labs, we will explore how these combination reaction, or we can learn about these combination reaction better through these virtual labs.
Ma'am, very well said. I mean, there's so many abstract concepts in science that we only visualize and they're left to our imagination. But now, as you said, it is giving us a really interactive and engaging content. We will be able to understand those abstract concepts also.
Yes.
Now, since you've aroused a lot of curiosity in all of us, I'm sure that we have viewers with a lot of questions as well. So now, you have understood what virtual labs are, you have understood what are we going to talk about and learn about today. If you have questions related to the topic, please feel free to get in touch with us. Our phone number is 8800440559. We also have a dedicated email ID for you, that is diksha.training@ciet.nic.in. And on our YouTube handle, NCERtofficial also, you can send us your questions, suggestions and feedback. And if you really want to disturb our expert in the middle of the demonstration, please do that. She'll be happy answering all your questions. And now, ma'am, please tell us, where do we find these virtual labs, and are they open for all, available to all, and available free of cost?
Yes, these virtual labs, these are hosted on our Diksha platform. That is our national digital platform, and these labs are freely available. Just one-time registration is required. You have to create your account on Diksha portal, and you can access these virtual lab as many times as you want. You can repeat the sessions, you can repeat the simulations as per your convenience.
Lovely.
So I think we can now proceed to the simulation part.
Yeah.
So in order to access these virtual lab, you have to simply type Diksha, or you have to use this URL, that is diksha.gov.in. So once I click on this Diksha, I'll come to this is the home page of our Diksha platform. Here you can see I am scrolling it down so that I can reach to the virtual lab. These are the vertical areas of our Diksha, and one of the vertical is virtual lab.
Okay.
So this, after clicking on the virtual lab tab, this is the home landing page of virtual lab. So here you can see there is a why we are using these virtual lab, because as per our national education policy, it is very important to enhance the actual laboratory experience, so that each and every learner, they have an access to the hands-on quality practical experiments. Now you can see the content is available from grade 6 to grade 12 and they are very easy to access. What we have to do, we have to just simply click on the explore tab, and the mediums will list out, and under the medium we can see the subjects areas are mentioned. So since today's topic is based on science, so I'll click on the science tab and I'll come to this page. Now here you can see on the right hand side there is a table of content which contains all the activities, and I just mentioned in the beginning, these virtual labs are not just limited to the experiment that are listed in our NCERT textbook, but beyond that there are many activities and many experiments which our learner can explore anytime, anywhere. So you can see so many activities under this class 10th. You can see I am just scrolling it down to give you an idea. Even the projects are there, so they can explore beyond their curriculum also. So coming to our today's topic, so here you can see, just we'll come to this page. Now here you can see there is today's experiment is a type of a chemical reaction, because combination reaction is a kind of a chemical reaction. So once I click on this experiment 1, that is chemical reaction, under which there are many reactions, chemical reactions are listed, single displacement reactions, and there is a reaction between copper sulfate and magnesium ribbon, how they are reacting. Now once there is a combination reaction also. So once I'll click on this reaction, I'll come to this page. So here you can see the combination reaction. So here I just want to tell my learners that beyond that, apart from the simulation, there are many different kind of resources are available for the making this concept more relatable. So here learner can go through the theory part before performing the virtual lab. So here you can see theory is given with all the chemical reactions, how these reactions are going what is the chemistry behind this reaction. So I just want to tell my learner that just I mentioned combination reaction is a type of a chemical reaction. So what are chemical reactions? Chemical reactions are nothing, are the reactions when some reactants, they combine, they undergo some kind of chemical change, and they lead to the product formation, a new substance is formed, and there is some kind of chemical transformation takes place. Either there is some kind of bond is breaking, some bond is forming, or the chemical reaction can be exothermic or endothermic also. And for today's reaction is a combination reaction, and I just want to tell that these combination reactions, these are highly exothermic reactions. Why exothermic reaction? Because when the reactants, they react together to give the product, just for the today's experiment we are limiting ourselves to the reaction between the quicklime and water, and this reaction is highly vigorous and highly exothermic reaction, because once the quicklime, that is calcium oxide, it react with water, it gives us the slaked lime. So here you can see during this process there is a product formation, and that involves the release of large amount of energy in the form of heat. That is why the delta H is negative here, and that is why we are calling these reactions as exothermic reactions, because here we are getting delta H as a negative value. So here we can see different kind of combination reaction examples are given there. So we will for today's simulation we will explore the reaction between quicklime and water. So here we can see what are the learning outcome. The learner will acquire the knowledge about combination reaction, and they will acquire the skill to perform the combination reactions using quicklime and water. And before, I mentioned, we go to the procedure part. Here you can see the procedure is given in both real lab as well as the simulator lab. So what is the benefit of these kind of listing here? So once the learner, they perform the simulation through these simulator, through these virtual labs, they will be very confident to perform the experiment in their real lab physical laboratory, because now they are very much familiarized with what kind of reagents is required, what kind of observation they are supposed to be careful while doing any kind of reaction, and they will be also careful about they will be careful with the apparatus and the equipments also. Now there is some kind of animated video part is also given, so that the learner can understand these reactions or all the steps in a much better way. Now coming to the next resource, there are video also available, and then the simulator part, simulation, that is the main core component of these virtual lab. So here you can see this now we are into our chemistry virtual lab setup. So here now you can see all the reagents that are required to carry out these reactions are listed on our screen. Now learner, how they can perform these simulation, they can click on the help tab. The help tab will list out the steps that they have to perform, or they can simply follow the instruction panel that is placed on the left hand side. So as per the instruction panel, now we will perform this simulation. Now here you can see what we have to do. We have to drag the spatula over the empty beaker to put the quicklime. So I will take some quicklime and put this quicklime into the empty beaker. So here I have added the quicklime, that is my one of the reactant. So what we are going to do, we are going to visualize how the two substances, when they react, the two reactants, they will react, they will give a single product. That is our combination reaction. Now after that I will drag the distilled water, this is the distilled water, and add some distilled water into the beaker containing quicklime and give a quick stir to it. Now here you can see we will have to wait for some time so that it undergo a chemical reaction. So here you can see some kind of chemical reaction has happened there, and once I click on the inference tab, here you can see it react very vigorously, very fast.
And ma'am, how much should we wait?
Like for 2 to 3 minutes,
okay,
because just I mentioned the reaction is very vigorous and it releases. Basically when this kind of the solution, this is a solid component, so when it is settled down, the suspension is the solid calcium hydroxide, that is the slaked lime, it is present at the bottom, and the liquid and the aqueous solution of the slaked lime is known as the lime water. So basically the calcium hydroxide is settled down, the slaked lime is present at the bottom of this beaker, and above part this is my lime water. Why this is happening? Because the slaked lime is slightly soluble in water, so it will settle down soon in the beaker. So here now what we have to do, just I mentioned that it is the lime water. Now we want to test whether it is a lime water or not. So what we can do, there is a very simple test we can carry out. We can allow this lime water to react with the carbon dioxide, because when this lime water, that is the calcium hydroxide, it will react with the our CO2, that is carbon dioxide, it is going to produce the white precipitate of calcium carbonate. Now let's see how these precipitate will look like. So what we have to do, we have to take the help of the dropper, and I'll take few drops of lime water and then add into the empty test tube. Then I'll place this cork, fitted cork with the tube. Next what I am going to do, I will exhale some air. What will happen, since the exhale air, it contains the CO2, so I'll blow it. So here the exhale, you can see some kind of white solution has become slightly whitish, and it is basically due to the formation of the calcium carbonate. Here you can see now it is completely white. These are the, now my that quick lime water, it has completely reacted with the CO2 to give the precipitate of calcium carbonate, because as just I mentioned, the exhaled air contains CO2, it is reacting with the lime water. So anytime if I want to repeat this experiment, I'll click on the reset tab and I'll come back again and perform the experiment. If I want to learn and revise any step, I can do it as many times as I want. So this is all about the simulation part. Here we have completed how these combination reaction can be performed in a very simple visual way, and through these kind of platform, the student can retain the concept for a longer period of time.
Yes, absolutely. So now since our demonstration is complete, and when you were actually explaining that when calcium carbonate reacts with water, it produces enormous amount of heat. If I'm not mistaken, it reminds me of those laborers who come to paint our houses. In earlier days, they used to bring, I think, calcium carbonate only, and they used to mix it with water. So I mean, there's so many things that are happening in our real life, and I guess when we perform them, when we perform these experiments on tools like virtual labs, you can actually relate to anything that you've seen before. So it's very relatable, and I think this relatability of the content also helps us understand the concepts better.
Yes.
Now that we have, ma'am, performed this demonstration, it's a very important demonstration for class 10 students. I'm sure now everybody wants to evaluate themselves, what all they have learned, how much they have learned. So do we have any such option here?
Yes, we have. So after completing this simulation part, they can go to the self-assessment part.
Okay.
So what they can do, they can self-assess their learning. They can identify the weak area, their gap area. So they can work on, the teacher can guide the student here, because the teacher role is also equally important in integrating these virtual labs into our classroom setting.
Yes.
So let me take to the simulation part. So after the this completed the simulation, I'll click on the self-evaluation tab. So here you can see there are some questions are there.
Okay.
So learner can take this quiz on their own, or even if they get stuck, there will be instant feedback like what kind of revision they require. They can go to their previous concept. So let me take few questions with our learner.
Sure.
So on passing CO2 gas through product formed by the reaction between calcium oxide, that is our the quick lime, with water, the solution becomes which color? So we have already seen, that is why I'm telling that this platform is giving us a visual way to understand and relate any concept.
Yes.
So, and then next is calcium oxide is commonly known as, just we know, even if the learner tagged some wrong answer, they will be later on, after completing the entire exercise, the instant feedback would be there. Which of the following behavior is true about the solution obtained by mixing calcium oxide with water? These are calcium, because we have seen that calcium hydroxide is forming, that is basic in nature. And which of the following information about the reaction of calcium oxide with water is not true? Even you can see there is some hint is also there. The student will be guided throughout the process. So it is a ongoing learning. So there will be no interruption. So here we can see, because we know that the reaction of water with CO is exothermic, it releases large amount of heat.
Yeah.
So definitely the test tube can't be cold.
Yeah.
It will be, when we feel the test tube with our hand, it will be slightly warm.
Yeah.
So which of the following represent a combination reactions? Here we have already, we can explore, there are many reactions in the theory part we have seen. So let me just click on the, now which one of the following is a combination reaction? Here we can see that the combustion of hydrogen, because when hydrogen it react with oxygen, it is undergoing a combination reaction. While performing an activity in the lab, Meera exhaled air into colorless solution taken in a test tube. Suddenly the color changes to milky white. Which among the following is the colorless solution? So we have seen it is the lime water, because lime water it is getting when it reacts with carbon dioxide, it turns milky. To observe the reaction between quicklime and water, do you require the mixture to be heated? Again, some hints are there. So the learner, this way they can perform. And let me just randomly click on the some answer options here, and let me submit my entire questions here. So here you can see we will be there is a instant feedback, and they can go through those hints also, and the teacher can also guide the student anytime. And even there is one more feature, Harpreet, I want to tell, there is a feedback option also there, so that the learner, if they face any challenge and they want to give some ideas to improvise these virtual labs, our teacher, they have some good suggestions, so they can anytime they can write to, they can proceed through these feedback form, and they can help us to improve these virtual labs.
Right. So this is amazing that you not only perform the simulation, but you also evaluate yourself, and you can also give us a feedback what all changes you want to see on the website itself or in the tool itself. But there is one question that I want to ask you. What if I want to learn more? I know that I'm performing an experiment of class 10. I can jump to class 11 and 12 if I think that I'm able to solve those things. And if I'm not able to understand the concept of class 10, I can always go back to previous classes content. But what if I want some more reference material? Do I get some hint from here as well?
Yes. There is one more tab under which we can access the additional resources, and links are available there, or clicking on the resource tab. So here you can see some kind of website link, or our manual is also there, so they can refer to those links also for further reading and to get deeper insight into that particular topic.
Absolutely. So we can safely say that virtual labs, they are not replacing real physical laboratories and not replacing teachers, but they are coming as a tool which is very handy, which you can actually use as per your time and convenience, and see how easily you understood the concepts that are sometimes abstract in nature. So it's not just about sciences, but you can practice maths, English, languages, anything on virtual labs. Now, ma'am, this is something very important that we discussed. Now, before you leave, as a teacher, what would you like to say to all the teachers out there, how they can integrate this tool into their regular classroom teaching? Because we know how it is helping the students, but do you think that teachers also have a role to play in it?
Yes, definitely, because just today what we have done, we have just explored one textual, like one chemical reaction.
Yes.
So what they can do, like before taking this chemical reaction topic in their class, they can take their learner, they can take their student through these virtual labs, so that they can correlate with all the reactions, because just we have discussed in the beginning only that all the reactions can't be doable in our physical lab setup, or it is very difficult to replicate the same experiment sometimes. So it is better we take these the student through these platforms, so that they can be more, not just the experiment part, they will understand what is the mechanism behind those reaction, what is the chemical reaction, because just we have already seen that it is giving us a visual platform.
Yes, and
that is more
important,
beneficial.
And also, ma'am, because in classrooms generally teachers do not have enough time, teachers don't have enough time to cater to each and every student at that very moment. Through virtual labs and through these assignments, you can actually make them come prepared for the simulation to be performed. So ma'am, thank you so much for your time and contribution. You explained it so
Thank you.
nicely. Even I knew some of the answers when you were attempting those self-evaluation questions. So my dear viewers, now we're through with a session on virtual labs, where today for class 10 students we learned a concept of chemistry under the subject science. We learnt about combination reaction, what are these reactions, how they are performed, and what are the related or I would say critical aspects of the same that we must know. Now let me tell you that this week we will continue with this journey, and today we have done the very first session. Tomorrow we will come up with another session. And what are we going to learn? See, I told you it's not just about science, we can also learn language through virtual lab. So tomorrow we will be having a session of English, and that is going to be for class 8 students, and the topic will be very interesting. It will be demonstration of simulation to identify the finite and non-finite verbs. Literally, I have no idea about this concept. I'll be learning it tomorrow with you. So do participate, and do let us know if you face any problem, any challenge in practicing through virtual labs. Now with this, I'm wrapping up the session over here, but before I leave, let me give you quick updates. First of all, let's talk about textbooks. Yes, they are available for grade 4 and 7 on Amazon, Flipkart and NCERT website. What are you doing, guys? Just purchase them because exams are approaching, so please do that, and simultaneously take a quick look at the schedule. Well, it will tell you what's all coming ahead. So we are through with the session on virtual lab. In a short while from now, we can talk about our next session. We'll be learning mathematics in our inclusive classroom sessions, and the topic will be straight lines. Rest of the programs will follow, and take a note of the same and do participate. With this, it's a wrap. This is me, Harpreet Kaur, signing off, and we'll join you shortly. Namaskar.